Hi, everybody. This is Susan Proper with Susan Gets Social. Good for you to be here with me today. I have a guest that will be joining me shortly, and her name is Diane Murphy. And Diane's coming to us from the state of Maine, a fellow New Englander. Yay, yay, yay. I'm so happy about that. I don't get to talk to New Englanders very often, so yeah, that's a nice treat. Diane is a yoga teacher. No surprise there, right? Yeah. And Diane is also a crystal lover like me, so I'm excited to chat with her about that. But I want her to share her story with you. I don't want to tell you too much. So she should be with us in just a minute. Waiting for her to give me the signal that she's ready to join. She's also into astrology, which I got to admit, I don't know a whole lot about astrology. The only thing I do is when there's, hey, there she is, Diane. Okay, so Diane, I need you to click on the bottom, on those two little people on the bottom of your phone, and that'll tell me that you're ready to join. And then we'll be on share screen, okay? Yeah, so just click on that on the bottom of your screen. There's those two little people, and then we'll be ready to do share screen. Excellent. So yeah, I don't know much about. Hey, there she is. Hi.
First time doing this with this.
Okay. Well, it's not complicated at all. It's really very simple. So I'm so happy for you to be with me.
Yeah.
I was before you joined, I was sharing that it's not often that I get to talk with a fellow New Englander because I'm originally from Boston. So yeah, it's really great. I'm happy to talk to a New Englander.
Yay.
And I was explaining just briefly, I don't want to share your story. I want you to share your story. But I was just saying that I don't know too much about astrology other than when there's a full moon, I put my crystals out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to get them into that full moon light.
Yes.
So Diane, as I told you, is from Maine, and she's a yoga teacher. But I'd like for you, Diane, to just share your story and tell a little bit about yourself to our listeners today.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. I am so happy to be here today. It's really excited to chat with you. I am a yoga teacher, but I started out and I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 33 years.
Wow.
The name of my business, Mystic Nurse Yoga.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. I do other things. I teach yoga. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I do astrology readings. I do what I like to label as intuitive embodied astrology. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I got into yoga 20 plus years ago, and I'll tell you, I was always a person that I always worked out at home by myself because I had 4 kids and I could never get to the gym. And so I was a very, very disciplined person, being able to work out at home and whatnot.
I'll say.
Yeah, so lo and behold, 20 plus years ago, I heard that yoga was the newest fitness craze, right? And pretty old, but then I started practicing at home with a videotape, VHS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm that old. And I noticed that it was so different than just like a regular workout. I was finding that I was getting definitely stronger, flexible in different ways, centered, but I was noticing like when I didn't do that practice, I felt really off. And I didn't feel that way so much with workouts. Like I would feel like, yeah, I need to do a workout, but not like, whoa, I feel like I'm really missing something. So I'd go, well, I'll put that tape on again and do it. And then I was like, hey, ding, ding, light bulb. There's something else here besides a physical practice, because it was really helping me to be more focused and centered, calming my mind. It helped me to be a better mom, to my kids over time. I'm not saying like I took a couple, did this a couple times and I was like, ooh, I'm chill, super centered mom. No, it was a practice over time, but time went on and I just fell more and more and more in love with the yoga practice. Really just read everything I could get my hands on, and yoga journal and articles. And so I was working, as a nurse, like I said, for 33 plus years, 20 of that in the last, before I left my job, I was working specifically as a mental health and substance abuse nurse. So that was for over 20 years of that. Yeah. And I really loved that work. I loved the clients. I loved my coworkers. I just didn't like so much the Western approach to these ideas. So myself, I had periods of time for many years of struggling with my relationship with food, developed an eating disorder, anxiety, trauma, episodes of depression. And what I was finding was that yoga practice was really helping to soothe me in ways that other things weren't doing, like quite the magic. I mean, I don't want to ever discount therapy or medications for some people, but what I found is that when I started adding yoga, it added this different layer. It really started going deeper within. And then as time went on, I continued to practice more and more. I went to my first training back in 2011 with Amy Weintraub. I became a life force yoga practitioner because at the time I didn't think I wanted to be a full-time yoga teacher. I just wanted to bring the skills to my clients and the patients that I was working with, and also to help myself because I was still, having a lot of stress in my life, divorced, and blah blah blah, those things that happen in life, and having teenagers at home. And so I did that training, which is it's using yoga for anxiety and depression as well as trauma. And a big thing that came out of that practice, well, I would say like one of the major things that was like I was really hooked on was yoga nidra. It really just really changed my life. That and learning new skills on how I could actually influence my mood, my energy, my vitality by just changing my breath and using mantras and different mudras to really shift my energy. And boy, then the progression just took off. A few years after that, I did my first yoga teacher training. And then last year I completed my 500-hour yoga teacher training. And I've done, of course, us yoga teachers, we go on the training.
The crusade.
It's like, which training can I do next?
Yes.
Lots and lots of stuff. But my focus really shifted over the last year to, as we start out, we kind of want to do everything for everybody. Like, I'll teach restorative, I'll teach yin, I'll teach a flow class, I can do it all. And what I found was what really, truly lit me up was working in a deeper capacity with people, developing a spiritual practice, because it's such an element of the yoga practice. To me, it's the part. It was way beyond the physical postures. And then seeing how they can transform and using the different elements, the theming of, spirituality, yoga philosophy, also weaving in my experience as a nurse as far as experience in like cognitive behavioral therapy and different psychological principles that I could actually weave into my yoga classes. And then I found that when I decided to leave my job as a full-time nurse 2 years ago and just dive into this business, I at first was like, I'm done with nursing. I just want to leave that. I I'm a yoga teacher now. I'm a spiritual leader. I'm a mystic, and that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't think I could bring the two together, but I had this revelation, about maybe a little over a year ago, that I can't discount all those years of experience and all of the skills and that I had developed all over those years
Right.
as a nurse.
Right.
I could bring that into my yoga practice.
Absolutely.
The ability to assess someone and have a dialogue, and I was already coaching people for 30 years. I wasn't an actual trained coach, but as a nurse, that's what I was doing, was coaching.
Yeah.
And, and the ability to look at a particular intervention that I might do and see, well, that intervention is not right for you. So let's shift after we evaluate that, and kind of using the nursing process to shift around how I approach with working with my clients. So hence the name Mystic Nurse Yoga. I brought them together. I just reconciled that I have all of these gifts, skills, and talents that I have from all of those years. And I can't discount that because it was my life. That was my life path at the time. So
Right.
now I feel like I'm actually in the zone, as far as my branding and my approach, which is exciting.
Wow, that is an amazing story. I cannot believe it. This is Mental Health Month, right? And I was talking with another woman today, and she may even be watching right now. I'm not too sure. And today is Mental Health Day. And
I didn't even know that. That's bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't know today was Mental Health Day, but I knew this was Mental Health Month. Mm-hmm. And I also have personally struggled with depression and some mental health issues, and have used yoga and meditation as a tool to bring myself back to happiness and joy and a recovery, a sense of recovery. Mm-hmm. And I totally resonate with what you're talking about. And I just love that story. It's so perfect for what this month is all about. And it's a total surprise to me. I mean, I knew that there was a nursing connection, but people say they're a nurse. Well, there's a million kinds of nurses, emergency room nurses, neonatal nurses. There's you never know what kind of nursing somebody is involved with. And to hear you tell that story is just so fabulous, and how you wove it into your yoga practice. And then to hear you say that you love yoga nidra just makes my heart go even better.
Yeah, right?
Because I'm a yoga nidra fanatic.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I just I want to hold your hand.
I know,
it's like perfect.
Virtual hug.
Yeah, I know. It's like share the love. Oh my God, that's just fabulous. Wow. Oh my God, that's just so awesome. So I have to admit though, I having gone through, my depression and used yoga and meditation and nidra and all that, and working with my clients to help them through that journey and get themselves back on their path towards happiness and finding their inner sparkle again. In my tool belt, I don't have some of the things that you have. So how do you work with like a typical client with the tools that you have in your tool belt, like Reiki and astrology? That's really, like you said, mystic, right? Wow, what do you do? How do you do that?
Well, I try to not stick with a rigid plan with really anyone that I work with. I try to use my intuition.
Okay.
I go into the public classes that I teach with an idea. Maybe perhaps it's a new moon or a full moon, or maybe there's something going on. Maybe there's Mercury retrograde or something. And I'll go in and kind of theme my class around that. and just kind of help people kind of dip their toe in the water regarding like how to apply astrology to you and your physical body.
Okay.
When I work with people privately, the same. I just kind of meet them where they're at, see what their interest is, and then I have so many tools in my toolkit that I can just pull this out. I might take out crystals. I might take out oracle cards, my essential oils. I know you're an essential oil geek like me too. So I will do whatever I can to bring that in to the practice. So for example, what I like to do with my students is, for example, some people are really like, yes, I'll come to yoga, but that astrology stuff, that's kind of weird. But what I'll say to them is that you might not believe in astrology per se, quote unquote. You might think it's kind of woo-woo. But I'm pretty sure that you can relate to the archetypes of astrology.
Yeah.
With the planets and the signs and how they show up in your life. So I will talk about that and theme that through my class. For example, like maybe we'll talk about Venus and we'll talk about the heart chakra and opening up the heart, and also, you know, beauty and relationship and how to foster that through the body using astrology. So as we take the themes, of course, and work in the physical structure, in our physical body, in our energetical body, then it really starts to sink in to the tissues. It sinks into our psyche. And that is helpful to us to embody all of these ideas.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Now, how do you use crystals? Because I'm into crystals too. So I when I'm working with people, sometimes I'll create a crystal grid, or I'll just recommend a crystal to use during meditation. Or I know you use crystals in Reiki, of course, but is that the only way that you use your crystals, or do you use crystals differently?
Mostly in Reiki.
In Reiki.
If, for example, if I have a private student that is coming to my home, well, I used to have them come to my home, of course, during these special times. That's not happening.
I know.
I would ask them, you know, because if I get in my intuitive hit, I might get like, oh, let's bring out some, you know, rose quartz for the heart. And I will say to them, hey, this seems to be coming up. Would you be interested in me bringing out some rose quartz? I could place this on your heart. If they say no, I'm like, cool, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But are you interested? And then, you know, if they are, they're like, hey, yeah, sure. And that's how I'll weave it in. And I really love, because it's part of, you know, my history is working obviously in mental health, but substance abuse and addiction. I love to work with amethyst. That's a great crystal to use for addiction.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not talking about any, you know, alcohol, drugs. Those are two things, but anything, because all of us have some sort of addiction.
Oh, we sure do. It can be the cell phone, right? Social media.
Holy smokes. That is probably one of the primary addictions now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So using any of those. And it's the same with oils. I just kind of say, are you interested in this? This is what's coming to mind. Or I've got a great oil for you. And I might even say, are you interested in me creating a special blend? Because then I bring all of those things in. And,
right.
you know, so honestly, I'll have to say that 99.9% of the people I work with are like, yeah, I love that. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Some people are allergic, or some people like, oh, don't use, you know, patchouli with me or something. I just don't like patchouli or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
To bring it all in. I just love it all. And the thing is, I've spent years, Susan, and probably you did too, like working in the corporate world. I listened to some of your posts.
Yeah.
You spent so much time stuffing yourself in this little box. And yet inside there was all this stuff that was just yearning to get out. And now I'm like, what the bloody, I'm going to just go out and be me, you know. And I love science. I love brain science, neuroscience. That's the shiz. But man, I love the mystical stuff. And you know what? The ancients, they knew about neuroscience. You know,
they did, but not in the Western way. Yeah, not in the Western way that we think of it, in a totally mystical way.
In a total mystical way. And now, lo and behold, there's tons of scientific evidence starting to come out as this stuff is being studied. You know, every day there's new research studies coming out, and you can't even keep on top of it anymore because brain science exploding is just, it's thrilling.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It really is so very interesting. I just want to take a pause right here, right now, Diane, because we have a comment from Brenda. Oh, my friend Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Do you ever offer online classes? I would absolutely love to experience that. So, Brenda, I don't know who you're talking to here. Are you talking to Diane or are you talking to me? So you have to be a little bit more specific. But Brenda, just write another note there. Or Diane, you can say right now, do you offer, you can answer that question. Do you offer online classes?
Currently,
Diane, she's talking to you, Diane.
Yeah. I was doing online classes through Zoom through my home studio, but I took a hiatus over the summer. But I'm restarting that in a couple weeks, maybe the 1st of November, if maybe the last week of October, yes. So there'll be some details coming out. So I would say keep an eye out here on the Instagram because my website was supposed to launch today and I ran into a few computer glitches, technical glitches. Mercury's starting to go into its pre-retrograde shadow, so it's like a big surprise there. So anyways, keep an eye out on Instagram, and I would love to have you join. Yes, I'm doing a variety of things. I'll be doing like a meditative yin, some new moon, full moon ceremonies with yoga nidra, as well as some mindful movement, mindful slow flow, where it's like a gentle yoga, but I also love to add other novel movements that help to integrate the right and left hemispheres of the brain and to help settle the nervous system. For example, you know, straightening one leg and lifting the opposite arm up and then bending.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with subtle yoga techniques. Christine Kabari-Weber, yeah, she's amazing.
Yes.
But I've done some online trainings with her, and combining that with some of the other trainings I had with Amy Weintraub through Life Force Yoga. So adding those in, weaving them into the practice, and then always teach with some sort of theme, a dharmic theme. I really feel like that's very important, as well as setting intentions. To me, that is one of the most valuable things for me in my practice, is to always practice with an idea or a sankalpa, something that I'm bringing into the practice that helps me and to embody what's happening.
Right. Wow, that sounds so fabulous. We need to mention your Instagram handle. It's mystic_nurse.
That's it.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Then you can find me on my Facebook page, Mystic Nurse Yoga. And then when my website does launch, it will be Mystic Nurse Yoga.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that launch. Yeah.
I am too. I was so excited. I thought today was the day, and I hit send, and it was like, bang.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all
good. You know, the universe knows what it's doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So when you do launch your website, are you going to be like having anything going on your website that people need to know about?
Yes, there's a couple things I'm very excited about. Besides my online classes that I'll have weekly and special little events, I'll be offering intuitive embodied astrology readings. And in that, it's not just a basic reading. What you'll get is a PDF printout of the reading, as well as specific videos that I'll design according to whatever your natal chart is and specific issues that you might want to pay attention to. Because one of the things that I really am passionate about is helping people find their life purpose, especially women. I work mostly with women. I'm not averse to working with men, and I'll work with, obviously, people who identify as women as well. But specifically helping to really bring forth that divine feminine, stepping into our power with clarity, with purpose, so that we can really be who we are, you know. And I love the statement by the Dalai Lama that the world will be saved by the Western woman. So I think that once we start really deepening our spiritual practice, coming together, that we could change the world. But yes. Now, the other things I have going on, I'm going to be doing, obviously, I'll do one-to-one private sessions, and that could be anything from yoga, meditation, distance Reiki, something like that. The other two things that I'm very, very excited to offer is a 5-week course, Becoming a Mystical Warrior. And that's a 5-week course where there'll be journaling prompts, videos, a workbook, as well as coaching calls where I'll work with you to, help you step into that warrior spirit, as well as a one-to-one coaching program that'll be about 3 to 4 months that I'll work with people individually, where we'll really go deep into yoga philosophy, all parts of that, the koshas, the gunas, chakras, Ayurveda, how your dosha affects how you move about in the world, your level, whether you're prone to depression or anxiety. We'll address that, as well as that'll include a natal reading, coaching calls, and all of those fun things.
Wow, you're going to be busy, girl.
I'm going to be busy, but I'm so stoked because you're probably like me, that you can actually talk about this stuff and you could go on for hours and you're like, hey, hours have passed and you've been in the flow zone, and it's just exciting.
Yeah. And plus, I'm a pitta and I like to be busy.
Well, I'm a vata, so I can be very busy in my mind and wear myself out. So that's why I work very hard at balancing myself,
Okay. Yeah. All right. I get it. Yeah. Okay. I want to remind everybody of your Instagram. It is mystic_nurse. And your, your website is mysticnurseyoga.com.
Right, that when it's launched. So if you click on that right now, you're going to see something weird. So don't be surprised.
And it's going to be very soon, right? It's going to be
hopefully by next week.
Okay. And are you on Facebook?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. You can find me at Mystic Nurse Yoga.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Diane Murphy.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that we need to know about you?
Well, I don't know. Unless you think. Like I said, I could talk forever about this stuff.
Yeah, I know. The subject matter is just kind of endless, isn't it? Right? Yeah.
It is endless. It's what makes it exciting.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think that we had an interesting chat, and I am so glad to have heard your story because, we have a mutual friend. We have a couple of mutual friends.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want to give a shout out to one of those particular people who's connected us.
Yes, I do. The mutual friend, Amy, never told me your full story. So, she said, oh, you guys have a lot in common and I think you should talk. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And I did look at your Instagram and, but I never really knew the whole story. And I'm glad that I heard that today because we really do have a lot in common. That's really great. Yeah. I'm so glad to have.
We also have another friend in common.
Yes, we do. And she lives very near me. Is she watching?
I think so. She checked in. She waved.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad. So it was so nice to officially meet you and hear your story. And I hope that we chat again sometime and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
And, I can't wait to check out your website.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So thank you very much, everybody, for being with me and Diane today for Susan Gets Social. What a great conversation. What a fun person. So interesting. It is Mental Health Month, and it's that time where we all really need to consider our own personal being and whether or not we need to address anything. whether that be finding our joy, finding our purpose, just intuitively, whether there's anything that we need to take care of for ourselves. And if that's talking to a coach like Diane, or a coach like me, or to a professional in the medical field, make sure that you do that, please. Don't ever not take care of yourself. It's very, very important. I thank you so much for being here with me today. And if you'd like to talk with me any further about my coaching, or yoga nidra, aromatherapy, or any of the coaching options that I have available for you, please reach out to me on Instagram, susanproperyoga, or my Facebook, which is also the same, Susan Proper Yoga. I would love to talk with you and just share my story and hear your story and see if we can connect and work together in some way. I'd really love to help and be of assistance to you in any way that I possibly can. DM me at any time. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you next time on Susan Gets Social. Namaste, friends.